officers at the door, and it's like 2 or 3 cop cars pull up. Like, y'all, hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today is part 4, and today we talk about theft. Before I get into my stories, I definitely just want to tell you all that I love you all with the love of Christ. If you've been watching my videos and just how transparent I've been, the reason why I'm doing this is just to bring others to come to know that there was a past me before you get to see the new me. I feel like this is something that God has been calling me to do, definitely because I'm being used by Him. And in order to bring me to the other side of my level, my breakthrough and things like that, I need to be able to get these things out into the atmosphere, out to the world, so that way I'm relatable to others. And then that way I can get to preach the gospel to you all, and you all know the type of people that God uses. Because a lot of times we think that God uses the perfect people, the people that have been in church all this time, and God is using me, you guys. Like, I was doing my thug thizzle, as many of you all could see just from our stories. But today we go into theft. All right. So I know in the last video, I pretty much talked about, how I started smoking weed, how it became like an everyday norm for me. And more so, just going more into, having a child now at the age of like 18, 19, and, just how all that came about. So pretty much where we left off at was just, my introduction to, I want to say, more of the darker side to my rebellion. So at this time, I'm around, 19, 20. And, I already started hanging with the wrong crowd, just pretty much doing what I wanted to do, you guys. And how can I say it? I think this was more of a personal choice for me too. Nobody ever made me do any of this. It was just my natural curiosity, and it was just, me wanting to see the other side of things. Sometimes with children growing up in a sheltered environment, sometimes, and maybe just depending on the personality type that you are, but definitely for me, I was one of those people that had to see things for myself to see if, something was true, or, just like test the waters. I'm the test the waters type of gal, if you want to say. But for me, one of those things was definitely theft. Like, how can I say it? I saw so many people get away with all the bad things in this lifetime, especially even around me. The people that I was not growing up, but the people that I was hanging around at this time that now I'm entering into adulthood, they didn't necessarily make the best choices. And of course, because I was hanging around them and saw them reap the benefits of their choices, I began to be curious about it. So let's say I was hanging around a friend, and she would go into a store, and not necessarily me being with her, but she would go into a store and say how she got this, or like just items, and one of the things that a lot of us kind of idolize, and I mean, I definitely would want you to take inventory. A lot of us idolize materials, and at that time I didn't really realize that I was idolizing materials. So it came to a point to where I ended up having this one job, and pretty much I had access to sensitive information, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you all can read into the information, but I was around sensitive information, and I used that information to get myself materialistic things. So like one of the big things, which Jordans is still like a big thing, it's still a big thing that a lot of people wear. So it came a point to where I would be ordering stuff, with this information that's not my information, and, having materialistic items, or just even meeting people. And I guess it was because of what I was introducing myself to. One of the things that I found myself like attracting was even more people that was, you know, basically thieves and like high rank thieves. So sometimes you could do like little petty thievery, like going to your local Walmart or you know, have hold of sensitive information and use it. But it's like, I think with anything, there's always somebody in a higher rank than you. So I end up meeting individuals that were higher ranking in thievery. And, you know, it was even one point to where I knew a gentleman and ran into him, and he somehow had like how can I say it? It almost looked like gift cards, but apparently it was hooked up to people's bank accounts or whatever. So like he was trying to you know, come to the store where I was working there and buy like high ticket items, and of course to sell them. So you buy the high ticket items to sell them, and then of course make the money off the merchandise that you're selling. So that was what I was involving myself around. And how can I say it? Like in the time when I was, you know, doing little petty theft, you know, I always felt like I had a good amount of materialistic things because of the things that I was doing. But to be honest with you, none of that really brought pure joy. I mean, it was fun when you first get it, but then at the end of the day, it's just materials, you know. And I had so much going on at that time, horrible relationships, like super horrible relationships. And this is so funny. And this is why I kind of want to share this story too, because there was a common denominator anytime that I stole something of very high value or of high value, was that there is no honor amongst thieves. So let's just say if I was dating a person and I introduced them to what I was doing, they would start doing it. And it became one situation where, let's just say I hit a lick or whatever you want to call it. And it was probably one of the highest licks that I had hit and got some cash. And so funny, like I dated this person for a while. They were staying with me. And literally, once I got that money, the next morning, you know, I tried to like hide it. Not, you know, like my thing is, it's like I was dating this person, wasn't really trusting them, but still was dating them, which is idiotic now that I think back to it. But I ended up getting that large lump sum of money and hiding it or whatever. And it's so funny because the next morning when I woke up, he literally asked me, he was like, hey, can I have $100? And of course, you know, you're not thinking nothing of it or whatever. So I just tell him to like, hold on or whatever. So let's say if I'm in my bedroom and I hide it in my closet and you in the hallway and you asking, I'm hiding it from you, not telling you where it's at. But I guess because you can hear the noise that I'm making, you know, you would necessarily know where it's at. So I didn't think nothing of it. Y'all went to work, and to mind you, not saying that theft is for people that don't work, but y'all, I literally had no reason to steal. Like I paid my rent, like my child was taken care of. I was working a 9 to 5, had no even reason to steal. And not saying that you can have a reason to steal, but I mean, if I got caught, I would love to, not love, but if I got caught stealing, it would be more easy to justify to me that, hey, my kid, I didn't have money for my kid to, you know, buy my kids some food or something, and then I get caught stealing. But just to be literally stealing just because, and you have the money or funds, like, it was crazy. But so I went to work that day, y'all, because sorry, I'm not trying to go off on 100 tangents, but I went to work that day, you guys. And now, mind you, I had just got a brand new car or whatever. So, you know, listen, and because I was stealing so much, I convinced myself that it was time for me to go get a car note. So I ended up rolling off, you know, in a new car or whatever. And I don't know, it was weird. But I ended up getting a new car or whatever because I was making so much money doing what I was doing outside of my regular job. So I was able to get a car. But that day I went off to work or whatever, and just so happened, I think my car battery had died on the car that I had just bought or whatever. So I ended up, I don't know if I left the car at the house or what, but long story short, when I came home from work, my door was open, which was weird, but I guess because I can't remember if I gave him the key to my apartment or not. Like, it was weird. Like, he was living with me, but I didn't give him a key to my apartment. I can't remember, but it was weird. But long story short, when I came home, my first gut reaction was to say, oh my God, this food has stole my money. So y'all, I go in my room, closet toe up, money gone. Oh, when I say I was super pissed, super pissed. But it just goes to show you that there is no honor amongst these, and that is in the Bible and Proverbs. Like, y'all, like, there's no honor amongst these, and I learned this so many times. Even one of my friendships, where around this time I was still stealing, and again, the kid, well, not the kids, but the people that I was hanging around, like, everybody was just heavy into stealing, scamming, and doing whatever. So I'm just going with the flow. It's just like, you meet different people, you learn about they scam, then you start doing what they doing, and it just kind of got like wild and crazy, in a sense. And we're not really realizing the repercussions of our actions, because nobody's going to jail or no anything. I think being a thief or stealing things, it gives you like this certain kind of high. It gives you like this certain type of adrenaline, because you like, okay, like, I just got something of high value, high price, and I got it for free, and I'm free and didn't go to jail. But y'all, and it's so funny, because I feel like God, in a sense, let me steal so much to where it became like a norm. So when I did actually get caught, like, I don't know, like, it was petty theft, in a sense, but I think that was also God's grace, because if I got caught stealing stuff that was like $4,000 or $5,000, y'all, I would have had a felony. So again, the incident where I did get caught, when I say it was super petty, like, not even, I think like $100 worth of stuff, and I can share with y'all, because again, I'm sharing and I don't have nothing to hide, you guys. So around the same time, got the new car, listen, he gone or whatever. Like, the dude that I was dating, he stole my money. I just kind of took it as an ill. And the crazy thing about it is, I really didn't even too much care, only because of the simple fact of, I'm like, I can still make money. I can still do what I want to do. I'm still already making money. So it really didn't even faze me at the time. It fazed me, but not super fazed me. It just made me really not trust nobody even more. But the time that I got caught stealing was actually on my lunch break, which is crazy. I ended up going into Walmart. Now, mind you, again, the stuff that I was stealing was cheap. I had money in my wallet. Like, I literally probably that day had made like $500 or $600. So for me to still be greedy, and again, when you thieve, a common denominator amongst these is that they are greedy. It's like, it's an insatiable appetite that you're steady trying to feed. Because once you start stealing, it's like, okay, what can I steal next? What can I steal next? What can I get next? What can I get next and not get caught? So it's really tricky once you start stealing things. And that's why some people can even become kleptomaniacs, in a sense. And it would be even just crazy, the habits that I built for myself and the friends that I had too, because we would go in Walmart and we'll start small and steal lighters. Then we'll go in Walmart and see what we can steal next, whether that was clothes. So the time that I got caught stealing, I went in Walmart on my lunch break and literally was like stealing clothes, like, and it wasn't even expensive clothes. Like, it was crazy. And the reason why I was, I guess, so comfortable with it was because previously in that same month, I had already been like stealing stuff. Like, I think it was like just different items. I always stole clothes. Like, it was never nothing, I don't know. It was just always clothes. I like clothes. Like, that's what it was. But that one day, I'll never forget. Like, I had got maybe, less than $100 worth of items or whatever. And I just remember walking out of Walmart and like the people literally standing at the door, and I'm like, oh crap. So yeah, what was bad about it was that, if you steal something or whatever, I guess, in the stores or whatever, if it's under a certain amount, they'll just give you like a citation and you can go. But at this time, y'all, I had made a record for myself, even as far as, well, not a record as far as like theft, but a record as far as like driving, because I guess out of how much money I was making, I never, took into consideration that I was driving on a suspended license. So me driving on a suspended license, that caused me to have a warrant. So that time that, they took me, called the police officer or whatever, to have a theft charge, I actually had to go to jail again, you guys, because of the simple fact I had a warrant. So I didn't go to jail for stealing, but it was literally for a warrant that I had, and that was because driving on suspended. And of course, if you drive on suspended too many times, it becomes like an actual what do you call it? It's not a felony, but a misdemeanor. So I had multiple misdemeanors on that, and I ended up getting taken in. And y'all, when I say the grace of God has been on my life, again, here go another maybe 4 or 5 hour visit, and I get OR'd out, and they just give me a court date. So out of all the things that I had did, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, like, you know, even just me now looking back at it, like, God really had his hand on me. He still wanted me to be successful, even though I was testing the waters as much as I could. Okay, so with that, you would think that how can I say it? You'd think that I would have learned my lesson. Well, I did. So I learned my lesson in regards to stealing from stores. So I just didn't steal out of the stores. But fast forward now, here's another year. Like, I kind of I did cut out the stealing, because of course, you know, once you start stealing a lot, you can create an environment to where you feel like you are being watched. So now I'm feeling guilty, and you know, like, oh, I didn't committed basically so many crimes. I feel like people could honestly be watching me now or whatever. So I just, you know, kind of cut it out in this season. Like, it became a habit, but I cut it out by God's grace, thank God. And you know, by that little going to jail, I was like, yo, me having to charge a theft of theft. Is it theft of possession or possession? I forgot the name of it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You can write in the comments. But I had a theft charge or whatever, but it was a misdemeanor. So I was like, okay, let me chill out on that, y'all. So one of the biggest things that I'll remember to this day, and this is, again, going to the there's no honor amongst thieves. Like, y'all, I literally had a best friend. Me and her was cool. And this is a person that I committed a lot of those crimes with too. And I'll never forget, it was a time where, I want to say this is after all the, you know, went to jail for the little theft or whatever. This may have been like maybe fast forward 6 months. So fast forward 6 months, I ended a relationship that was really difficult. And at the end of that relationship, I ended up not having that car no more, because the boyfriend that I had at the time literally wrecked my car and left me without a car. I didn't have a means to get to work. Like, at this time, you know, my mom kind of knew some things, but not a lot of things. So, you know, me and her had already had a rocky relationship because a lot of the things that I had done in my past or whatever. So it came a point to where I was, you know, without a job, without a car, like pretty much at a very low point, you guys, to where I literally couldn't even almost like feed my son. And, you know, just so happened the homegirl, which was my best friend at the time, she had just moved to like Biloxi or whatever, and which was maybe about like 3 or 4 hours from Little Rock at this time. And I just pretty much was just venting to her, telling her like, yo, like, I'm down and out. Like, this is the lowest, like the lowest of my points. And, you know, she had just moved in with a dude that she met, and she was just like, well, we about to come down there to drop off a package. Cause again, I was hanging with them folks, y'all. So I was like, okay. So when she came down, she was like, just pack your bags, and, you know, maybe you can just start over and just come live down here or whatever. And, you know, at this time I'm thinking like, oh my God, like, it's really weird that, you know, somebody I don't even know gonna let me and my son stay in their house or whatever. So long story short, we get down there, everything cool. I realized that he's a D-boy, so being in a house that was filled with, well, I ain't gonna say filled with drugs, but he did have pounds of weed in his house, you guys. He sold weed. That's what he did. And, you know, it wasn't like I lived in a trap house, though. Like, thank God it was like a nice house. So it wasn't like he had people coming in and out. He had an extravagant lifestyle, just to be quite honest with y'all. He had an extravagant lifestyle, or I would just say a comfortable lifestyle. So, you know, it came a point to where I was just chilling out there. And, you know, like one of the situations was when she came to visit me one time before I went to her, like we had ordered, you know, Jordans or whatever through information that we received, if y'all can read through the lines. And I remember when she left my house, I had maybe like 2 or 3 pair of Jordans missing. And I'm like, bro, that's like really, really weird that, you know, I had Jordans missing. And I'm like, well, it can't be. You know, like, I know she wouldn't steal from me. I'm like, bro, her life too good. We got the same type of stuff, same access to stuff. So why would, you know, she steal from me? So I didn't think nothing of it. And I was like, at this time, you know, I did have people coming in and out of my house. You know, just friends and whatever. So I was like, I don't know. I don't even know who stole it. At the time, I wasn't worried about it because I'm like, it wasn't my money that I used to get it. So I just wasn't really paying attention to it or whatever. So as I moved down there with her, I realized that she has the shoes. So I get instantly pissed. And, you know, I'm kind of one of them people. I'm not super confrontational, but I will do things to make you realize that you know, have backstabbed me or whatever. So I remember just taking the shoes and just putting them lined up with my stuff. So one day she comes to me, which was probably like a day after I did it, and she was like, hey, why do you have my shoes, you know, like kind of on your side or whatever? And I was like, well, they my shoes. And then she was like, what? And I was like, they my shoes. I said, bro, I literally checked all the shoes in your closet before I did this, and all your shoes is an 8.5 and mine is a 9. So the one pair of shoes that I know that went missing when you visited me is a 9, and all your other shoes are 8.5. So she kind of got like irritated and annoyed with it, but at the same time, she just was like, fine, you can have them or whatever. And I'm just like, they was mine to begin with, but I ain't argue with her or whatever. So it was what it was. But I guess in that sense, again, the unforgiveness, here come again. When somebody do something bad to me, I'm going full-fledged. So that kind of harbored in my spirit. And at this time, again, I know that I'm dealing with, you know, like a drug dealer or whatever, or living with a drug dealer, which has having my son in an unsafe environment, for one. You know, I believe that God always instilled in my spirit to have wisdom and knowledge about certain things. So I'm just like, yo, like we living in the house. Now, this, mind you, this is probably like 2 or 3 weeks with me staying with them. And I'm like, yo, I was like, I don't think this is a safe environment. Like, I just, you know, like in my spirit, it just wasn't right. And y'all, I wasn't even, you know, living a life for Christ at this time. And I just was not feeling it in my spirit. Like, yo, you are not, I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what it is. My kid's been going in and out. It's the summertime and it's mosquitoes and whatever else, flies or whatever. But at this time, it just wasn't sitting. Oh, sorry, y'all. Sorry, you guys. Take 2. I don't know what happened with my ring light. I don't know. But I know we were talking about the story of me being in Biloxi. And long story short, I just wasn't feeling it right in my spirit that, you know, I was supposed to be there. So just so happened this gentleman that she was staying with ended up having some old $100 bills. And at this time, I'm trying to think of a way to go back home. And I'm like, yo, if I go back home, the apartment that I had, I knew that the lights were off. And again, I was staying in like a Section 8 apartment. So it wasn't like, you know, if I don't pay the month's rent, then I'm going to get evicted or whatever. But little did I know later on down the line. But, you know, at this time, I was like, yo, if I just have enough money to turn the lights back on, buy some food for the house, and I didn't have a car. So I was like, even if I can get a car or whatever, like, yo, like, you know, I'll be able to go back home. So one night, I was just up thinking, and again, this is the honor. No, there's no honor amongst thieves. So at this time, my thievery was thieving, y'all. It was on point. Even when I shared this story with one of my friends, she was like, what? So I'm just gonna share. And this is not me bragging. I never want to say that I'm bragging about the things that I did, but this is just letting y'all know where I was and just sharing real live stories. So one night, you know, in the back of my head, I guess because of so much money that he was getting, any old $100 bills, he put it into a binder. And, you know, I knew where the binder was. It wasn't like it was hidden or whatever. So one night, I'm up and I was applying for jobs because I wasn't sure if I was going to be moving down there or not and making it stay like full time with them or whatever. Because it was talks of me getting my own apartment. It was talks of me, because he was like selling weed or whatever, he would have got me an apartment, and pretty much I would have been keeping weed at my house. I don't know if it would have been instead of his, but just basically having like living in a safe house with weed or whatever, which is risque as HE double hockey sticks. So, I was kind of getting, how can I say, tailored into their lifestyle to, do that or whatever. And I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. So, y'all, that's why I was saying, I was like, Lord, if I stay any longer, like, I'm going to literally be into this type of lifestyle. And that regardless of how many bad mistakes I made, that's not what God had for me. So at the time, again, I was up late at night, and I was just like, I think that this was very innovative thieving at the most, I would say, because at that time they had a printer. So I was just like, I wonder what would happen if I take one of these old $100 bills. I don't know what's that fly, but I would take one of the old $100 bills and I would Xerox copy it, color copy it, just to see if it will come out the same, or if you could tell. Because if anybody knows like a binder that holds bills, it holds the bills by itself. So it's not like you'll be able to really, really see if it's real cash or not. So I end up, let's just say the whole binder may have had maybe about $3,000 in it. So I took my time that night and Xerox copied all of it. And the next day when she woke up, I was just like, well, I lied and was like, hey, my mom, she said she gonna give me the money to kind of, get myself together. So I think I'm just ready to, like move, like go back or whatever. And of course, at this time, I'm staying on them, not being productive. And the funny part about it is I ended up looking for a job, went to an interview there, got hired, you guys, and my spirit still was not right. Like I literally was supposed to start work, I think in like 2 or 3 days, but my spirit wasn't right. I was just like, something telling me still to get on up out of here, for I may get myself into even worse situations. So I end up just leaving or whatever. She was like, okay. So she ended up dropping me off or whatever. Now, mind y'all, baby, I couldn't wait to get home. I came home to my little subsidized apartment. Well, y'all, when I say the foulest smell, when I opened it up because the lights had been off and the food was still in the fridge. So I think literally for like 3 or 4 weeks, it took a lot of time for the stench to come out of that house. But as long as I was back home and in my own more so unsafe, safe environments in a sense, I was fine. But y'all, I literally that same day got the lights cut on. I went and of course got groceries, cleaned out all the nasty stuff that was in my apartment or whatever, because when I say that food was stinking, it was stinking, so we had to clean that out. And then I even I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that was it for that day. And then of course, because I did steal a nice amount of money, I was actually able to buy me a car, y'all. And again, I can't really say like, oh, thank God that God allowed me to get that. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what happened. So when I came back, I was able to get myself back on my feet to where I was able to work again. And I don't know if y'all know, but man, and that was crazy because that was one of the best cars that I had. I think I ended up having that car for maybe like 3 or 4 years. It was a what is it? How you say it? Mitsubishi Galant. It was a green Mitsubishi Galant. And I feel like it was a blessing even just finding that car, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I rode that car till the wheels fell off. But man, like, when I say I got some stories, but, and I just kept it light, for testimonial purposes. But I just want to say that, even after all the stealing that I did, whether it I reap benefits or not. Like, it wasn't worth it because I had to look over my back. So you could imagine, backstabbing someone this hard to where, you looking over your shoulder. And again, now mind y'all, because I had did what I did, there's always repercussions. So because I stole that amount of money, I don't know if they ever found out about the money, but I know I did something stupid. And again, this is where greediness comes in. When I left, I not only did I take the money, but I also like stole a phone or whatever, which I really shouldn't have touched. But I think that's what made her realize, like, oh, that's why you left or whatever. Then she realized that I also had taken some Mary as well. So it was a lot that I did, and I'm not saying that that is okay, but there's just no honor amongst thieves. So her get back was to literally, I guess, because she knew the crimes that I committed, y'all. I want to say maybe within about 2 to 3 weeks after I came back home, like, there was a knock at my door. And y'all, when I say it was sheriffs in a car, like, like if a bounty hunter come and it's like 2 or 3 armed officers at the door, and it's like 2 or 3 cop cars pull up, like, y'all, they asked who I was, and they was like, man, we want to come and we want to question you about some things, so we need to take you down to the precinct. Long story short, she definitely ended up I think that's what it was. I never knew to this day, but I think that she ended up making either an anonymous call or anonymous tip and telling the police officers of a crime that I committed or whatever. And that was more so like my get back. Like, I got get back on her, and then she got get back on me. But again, y'all, even then, I thought I was toast. Like, I thought I was toast. I was like, oh, Lord, I'm finna go to jail for some years. Because when I say this was a crime, it was a crime. And I'm like, help me. But y'all, yeah, just crazy. Just craziness. But yeah, there's no honor amongst thieves. But I just wanted to come and to share one of my stories. So again, the purpose of me sharing my stories is really just to let y'all in on who I was. So that way, when I share and spread the gospel, I am coming from a standpoint of having been through a multitude of things, and not just, me preaching and teaching about things that I don't know myself. Like, y'all, when I say God have done a 360, a 380, like 180, all the turns and spins and twists and turns, like, God has literally turned my life around, like, so much to where, like, I'm straight and narrow. Like, it's really hard for me to even lie or do dishonest things. Like, that's how, because I honor my father, you know what I'm saying? Like, I honor God now, and I know what he's taking me through. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope that y'all can relate to this. Yeah, and I'll see y'all. I'm trying to think. I don't necessarily know what my next video will be, but this is probably where I'll more so just be talking about, more life choices or major life choices that impacted me. If you all have any questions for me, or if you all are curious about anything, want to ask me anything, you definitely can, and I can give you my honest opinion. But y'all be blessed. Have a great day. And before you leave today, hit that like button, subscribe so you can hear more of my stories. And yeah, just stay tuned. I love you guys, and y'all have a great day. I love y'all with the love of Christ.